we've opened the love letter last week from God, if you would, Spirit. And it's contained in the Song of Songs. And today we're covering a part of it entitled, Our Bed is Green. So let's turn to page 574 in those little Bibles. And for the rest of you, go to Song of Songs. That's the name of it. I can never find it in here. But anyhow, Song of Solomon, Song of Songs, and it's on page 574. And you're at chapter 1. Okay, we covered a couple of things last week, and we're going to chapter 14. All right? My beloved, verse 14, chapter 1, verse 14. Okay? My beloved is unto me as a cluster of camphor in the vineyards of En-gedi. Now, many of you, what I am sure, if you had read this at a quote-unquote normal Bible study in a normal church, say, yeah, so what? And then go on to the next one looking for something good. There is so much contained in there that I want to share with you, okay? This camphor at that period of time was only found in the vineyards of En-gedi, no place else. And what it is, camphor is a compound of crystal. It's a crystalline compound. Has an aroma, and it acts as a stimulant. Okay. So what's being said here now is, my beloved, that which is the part within me, that the God part, the Spirit part, the Christ part, is like unto crystal. It transmits, it brings energy, it brings an aroma of love, as the vineyards of En-gedi. Now, let me go on to where I want to get to with you and bring something I think that you'll find quite amazing. When there's two right up here, Don, you can just walk right up here, perfect. There are 5 stages of consciousness in Greek, okay? The first is earth, the second is water, the third is air, the fourth is fire, and the fifth is the new mind. Okay? Those are the stages of consciousness in Greek. This one here is the point where there are no thoughts. This is the point that Buddha called nirvana. This is the point where you come into meditation and you rise above the first 2 levels of consciousness and you enter into the third. This is the part where in the Bible it says we will rise to meet Jesus in the air. This is the part of virgin consciousness. It's the mountain experience. It's the upper room. When you get into meditation, you actually enter into a spiritual baptism. You take the earth, which is your lower mind, you rise up into the second stage, which is the water of truth, and then you come out of the water of truth of the second stage of consciousness into the third, which is air, where all thoughts dissipate. You take no thought. There is nothing there. There is nothingness. The Buddhist or the Catholic monk back in the 1400s put it this way: it is the cloud of unknowing. It is always the ascension upward. When you break through from the thoughts of the human mind, you enter into air. That is the place where you rise to meet Christ, in the air. Okay? Now, what's interesting about this as we study and we understand these 5 stages of consciousness. In fact, this is the real essence of baptism. Baptism has absolutely nothing to do with going down to a creek and sticking your head in water. It means taking the lower mind, placing it in the water of the truth, which is the second stage of consciousness, coming out of that second stage of consciousness through meditation into the third, up into the air, where there is no thought whatsoever, and then being touched by the fourth stage, which is the fire or spirit. Okay? Now, the point here is, as you understand this, here we have her say, my beloved, that which is within you, that which is the Christ within you, the God within you, that which is the Buddhic principle within you. My beloved is as the camphor, that which is that crystal substance which stimulates you in your meditation, rises up as of the vineyards of En-gedi. This is what I wanted to show you. The vineyards of En-gedi. Why would they put that in there? What's the sense, what does it mean? In other words, if it's in there, it must mean something. There must be a reason for it to say, my love is as unto me as camphor in the vineyards of En-gedi. Okay? What grew in the vineyards of En-gedi is a fruit called osher. O-S-H-E-R. are. Okay, that's why you have to look and you have to stop at every word, because every word is a coded message coming to you from that which is the light beings, if you would. There's something very special about Ussher. There's something very special about the vineyards of En-Gedi. And many times when you hear me say this, people say, oh, you know, where's this guy getting this stuff from? You know? And so I've always asked you, I want you to see documentation. Go to the libraries, go to the bookstores, go wherever you need to go in order to be able to see these things. I've got for you something that comes out of a biblical dictionary. In fact, it's a Christian biblical dictionary. And what is the first thing you'll find is the word En-Gedi means the fountain of the kid. That where the water comes from the child. That place where we drink in that which is the newness, the youth, the birth of the child. That's what the word En-Gedi means. But there's something very... Would you quickly, could you run down and hand these out very quickly? And you just got settled. But as fast as you can. And I would ask you not to read it until we read it together, okay? But, and those of you who are interested out in television, I'll be glad to send you one. I'm going to ask you not to read it until we read it together, because we'll kind of destroy what I'm trying to show you here. Why does it say in the Song of Songs, my beloved is unto me as camphor in the vineyards of En-Gedi? What comes out of the vineyards of En-Gedi that is so special? What grows out of the vineyards of En-Gedi which is so different, that doesn't grow any other place in the world? Why is it talking about this? What's it trying to put? What's trying to be said here? If I don't have enough for everybody, just share them, okay? But please, okay, if you've got one. Now just hold it. Has everybody got one? Let me read it with you. En-Gedi, the fountain of the kid, a place in the wilderness of Judah. And it says to the wilderness of the Dead Sea. And let's go down to the second paragraph, okay? The vineyards of En-Gedi were celebrated in Solomon's time, Canticle 1:4. It is the modern En-Gedi. The fountain from which it derives its name rises on the mountainside about 600 feet above the sea, and in its rapid descent spreads luxuriance all around it. Along its banks, this is the vineyard, the Ussher grows abundantly. That shrub is thus described by Porter. The stem is stout, measuring sometimes nearly a foot in diameter. The plant grows to the height of 15 feet. It has a grayish bark and long oval leaves, which when broken off discharge a milky fluid. The fruit resembles an apple and hangs in clusters of 2 or 3. Now listen with me very carefully. When ripe, it is of a rich yellow color, but on being pressed, it explodes like a puffball. It is filled with air. Do you see? Do you see? And say how much more when you see it for yourself. And what does it say? My beloved. It's like the vineyards of En-Gedi. It doesn't produce anything out of the earth. Inside there is nothing. And when there is nothing inside, there is everything. Do you see that? See? And see how much we got by not just running along, by stopping and saying, what does camphor mean? What does En-Gedi mean? What are the vineyards of En-Gedi? What grows in the vineyards of En-Gedi? And then we find the only fruit of its kind in the universe grows in En-Gedi that looks just like an apple. It looks just like you do, everything of the earth. But when you deal with that which is the holy part within, there is nothing that is of the lower. It is that which is of the higher. Because when there is nothing, there is everything. There is the virgin. There is the virgin. There is where the Christ can be born. So you can just take that with you. And I just thought it was pretty interesting. And the funny thing is, as I said, this comes out of it. It's a Christian biblical dictionary that this comes out of. But nobody ever stops to say, okay, why does it say? Like the vineyards of En-Gedi. And look at the part, if you look up camphor in the Webster's Dictionary, it's a crystalline compound. It's crystal. And in your brain, as you see in that medical or that scientific journal in the back, there are 7 million crystal magnets, or is it 7 billion? In your brain, 7 million. And there's the crystalline, that which transmits the energy, and it becomes an aroma. But as the vineyards of En-Gedi, the fruit that grows there is not the fruit of the lower, it is the fruit of the higher, where there is nothing of the lower inside. And so that you take that fruit, and if you squeeze it, poof, there's nothing. Okay? I thought that was pretty neat. Okay, 115, Song of Songs 115. Behold, you are fair, my love. Oh, it's a nice. Behold. Now, maybe some of you have said this to your boyfriend or to your girlfriend. Behold, you are fair, my love. Behold, you are fair. You have dove's eyes. That's weird. You have dove's eyes. Now the dove means purity of mind. That's what it means. It's pure, it's white, it's beautiful. The aspiration to soar into the divine pure essence. And the eyes are a symbol of ideas, understandings, feelings. In other words, what I am feeling, what I am understanding is not that which comes from the lower mind. Not that which comes from my own desires, not that which comes from my own, but I have gained through this meditation, I have raised myself into nirvana. I have gone into the holy place far above all the thoughts of the mind. And there in that precious nothingness, I have found the understanding of that which is the divine. That which is the pure, that which is cosmic, that which comes down from the holy place, that which comes down from creation, that which is the Mother God and the Father God embracing finally after all these years. And I am a child, and in this Aquarian time of homecoming, I reach myself up and I am swept up into the bosom of my Mother and my Father, God, and we are one again. So dove's eyes mean in that pure, holy place, I understand. Do you know, even just what you've heard in a matter of a few seconds here, what you understand? You could go to every Bible study and I can guarantee you they'll say, first of all, they won't read this book. They don't read this book in the Bible because it has some sexual things. I mean, you get to a part of this book and it says, my dear, your breasts are like two gazelles jumping over the fence in the backyard. Who's going to read this in church? We will. Why? Why? You know why? Do you know why I can say that in the Bible? Because to the Bible, to creation, sex is not dirty. Churches made it dirty. Religion made it filthy. It's not, never was. It's beautiful. The creation, the orgasm of love, which, the sexual explosion which enters into that which is the beautiful feelings and the creation, and all of this is God-given. It's lovely. And you know what's so beautiful? Animals are not in it. They don't care. They'll do it right out in your front lawn. Right out in your front lawn. You come on, get away from there. No, look, get away. Get the heck out of here. Get your lawn for, the dog says. Get out. See? Oh, well, after all, I'm offended by this. But nature is not, and so nature can place it behind the words, the mystery of the book, and everybody then can open it. It's God, it's beautiful. So, dove's eyes, okay? Feeling of my beloved. Now let's go to 116, page 574. Behold, you are fair, my beloved. This is really neat, isn't it? You know what this is? This is a love letter from the Creator to you. And it's no problem. If you're female, God is male in this particular case. If you're male, God is female. Because God is male and female. Did you ever see, I know some new people, I don't know if you even realize this or not, but the word Israel is the male and female aspect of God. Is is Isis, the female spirit. Ra is the male mind. So if you take one of them away, you can't have Israel. You've got to have the female and the male. And El is from the cult of the bull Mithra cult of Egypt. It is the physical expression within. So here we have the feminine spirit of God, the masculine spirit of God, exploding within us makes Israel. Has nothing to do with Jews in a foreign country or anything like that. But anyhow, behold, you are fair, my beloved. Behold, you are pleasant. Also, our bed is green. Which could be a little messy under normal circumstances. But, I mean, here, let's look for something like, our bed is green. When you see that, the first thing you've got to understand is that in mysticism of which these people spoke, the color green is the color of astral consciousness. Astral consciousness is the color green. Every color has a significance. Green is astral consciousness. The astral part of your body is the part that lies between the physical, okay, and the mental. That's the part that if you lose a loved one, you should be very open, very alert, very aware, because the astral body of that loved one will linger at the place of its love, and you will be touched by that person if you're open to it. If you're open to it. Joan saw her mother after she died. I saw my mother after she died. We never went to the graveyard. What's the sense? What's the sense of going to the graveyard? Dead bodies are in graveyard, not dead people. There are no such thing as dead people. Coming down, we have a speaker. Hold on just a minute. Here we go, Beck. Stand up, Beck, so we can see you. You look great. Come on, Beck, stand up.
I just want to tell you something real neat.
Can you see her all right? Put the
Please.
light on in the center. Maybe you could see her better. Wait, he's going to put the light
Come
on.
on, Bill.
Yeah,
I don't want to tell
come
it
on.
now.
I should do. Oh, now. Yeah. Okay.
Jimmy, my fiance's father, passed away about, I guess, 6 months ago, and he just had a dream about. Jimmy had a dream, and his father came to him in his dream. And a few months ago, we found a puppy that I had asked Joan to see if he could find a home for it. Well, we decided to keep her. And Jimmy's father came to him in a dream and told him that he sent Nikki, which was that puppy, to watch over us. Isn't that something?
That's it. And if you accept that, it's yours. The problem with religion and Christianity is they say stay away from that stuff. So you frustrate those beautiful spirits of love who have gone on and who are trying to come back and touch you. You can. One of the things I had happen to me, we had this beloved dog, Flower, as all of you know about. When she died, you know, I couldn't junk. We couldn't deal with it. Just couldn't deal with it. It was too quick. She was too young. But I'll never forget until I died, the day I was sitting in my room and I heard, you know, we have all hardwood floors in there, and I heard the dog's paws, the nails on the floor. So I said, well, you know, one of the two dogs is up, they want to go out. And I opened the door and there was nobody there. And I went and I looked, the other two dogs were in bed, sound asleep. So I just, whew, you know. But that's the astral body. That's the part that lingers and will, and you know what's the funny thing? A lot of people are afraid of me, and I'm a screwball, and I'm a nut, and like the rest of these people, and all this stuff. Except when somebody has died, and Joan and I go to the funeral parlor and tell them about this, they say, yes, I believe that. Say, when it means something to you and you want it to happen, all of a sudden you believe it. Before that, you're, you know, with the crowd. So our bed is green, is astral consciousness. The color green is a symbol of the astral plane. Our bed is where we lay down and consummate the marriage. Okay? What is being said there? The place where you're going to consummate the marriage with the Christ is the astral plane, the plane of consciousness. Our bed is green. The place where he will impregnate you is the astral consciousness. Remember when Jesus Christ said, I'm sorry, I never knew you. He did not use the word knew to mean I have no acquaintance with you. He used the word yada, which means new sexual intercourse. It means to have a sexual intercourse with a person. And Jesus was saying, I've never had an intercourse with you. So what he was saying is, hey, you're supposed to enter into the house. I'm waiting for you in the upper room, in the chamber at the right side. You will expose yourself to me, and I will place within you the incorruptible seed, and then the Christ child will be born within you. But I never knew you. You spoke words, you put bumper stickers on, you sang songs, but you never came into the private chamber where I could touch you and place the seed. Huh? Our bed is green. The place where he will lay with you is in the astral consciousness. So let me show you that little clearer. Page 473, Book of Psalms. Page 473, the Book of Psalms. Psalm chapter. Where am I? Psalm chapter 23, and look at verse 2. He maketh me to lie down in. You get it now? Okay. See? And it's so simple, but it's so beautiful. There's a reason for it. See? And if you're not prepared to understand the things of the East, the things of the universe, then you can't pick up a Bible. Because you're reading it, as the Apostle Paul said, with a veil over your head. In Revelation 4:3, you can look at it at a different time. It describes the appearance of God in sight like unto emerald, which is green, which is astral. It means it's a all of consciousness. I mean, Christianity has taught you over and over. They insist on it on television. Jesus is coming again. Jesus is coming again. He's going to rule over this world, and he's going to make a physical appearance. But the only thing they never asked him, because he said, my kingdom is not of this world. And he said the kingdom comes not with observation, because the kingdom of God is within you. The very basis of their entire operation crumbles at his feet on the words that he said. Now look at this next one, 117. The beams of our house are cedar, and our rafters are of fir. Cedar and fir are wood. Okay? Now, if you go to China, do you remember what I said to you before? Earth, water, air, fire, renew mind. That's Greek, of which this is translated. But if you go to China, that second stage of consciousness, which is truth, which is water in Greek, is wood in Chinese. Okay? It's wood. The earth signifies the physical plane, and in the physical plane are two other planes, mental and astral. Mental is represented by metal. Mental is represented by metal. Astral is represented by wood. So now you've had two situations here. You've had the color green, which is a symbol of consciousness, and now you have wood, which is the symbol of consciousness. Now, understand something. In the astral consciousness, the desires can be either lower or they can be higher. There's a duality in everything in nature. In all the signs of the zodiac, there's a duality. And everything that, exists, there's a duality. You can't have a string unless there's two ends to it. You can't have an up unless there's a down. You can't have an in unless there's an out. You can't have a front unless there's a back. There's a duality to everything. And in consciousness, there's a duality. So we have to look, when we look, of course, as the color green, we're understanding that as it's given in this beloved liturgy that is talking about consciousness, divine consciousness. But wood, you could have a wooden floor. Where your feet touch. And the part in the Bible where your feet touch is the part which has to be purged. That's why they have foot washing in the Bible. Not because your feet are dirty. It's a symbol that that part of you that touches the earth must be cleaned. The part of you that touches the lower carnal mind must be cleaned. So here now we have wood. Say. And now we know that wood is desire. It's consciousness. But what? The key to the wood as desire for the higher is the fact that it describes what? In verse 17, the beams of our house are cedar, our rafters are fir. It is the higher part. It is the ceiling part. It is the upper part. So then we're talking about astral consciousness. It's not talking about a wooden floor. It's talking about that which is above. So then we're again talking about the conscious. Let me show you. Let's go on then, because we're a little bit. We've made it through the first chapter of the Song of Songs. Made it through the first chapter. We're going to chapter number 2. We're in chapter number 2, verse 1. I am the rose of Sharon, the lily of the valley. Okay. First of all, you've got the connotation here that you people address when you go into meditation, which is I am. See. Let's see if you understand and you've learned your lesson. Who is the President of the United States? George Bush. Who will be the new President of the United States? Bill Clinton. Who is God? I am. Okay, that's exactly what's being said. I am. Identify. I am that which is within you, the God within you, the male, the female. See, that's why in the Bible, when it's talked of as what is your name, it is not just I am. What is it? I am that I am. Why? Because it's YHWH. This is the male. This is the female. There's two parts to God. And what happened? Do you know what happened? The culture made a name of God out of that. And they called it Yahweh. But when the culture came to Europe, what happened? There was no Y. And there was no W in Latin. So you know what they did? The Y became J. The W became V. The name changed from Yahweh to Jehovah. Exactly where it came from. But there's no God named Jehovah or Yahweh or anything else. It's cultural. And that's where those things came from. Okay? So I am the rose of Sharon. Of course we know the rose and the color of the rose and the red and the love of the rose. And the beautiful part, I remember a guru said something so beautiful about a rose. He says, when you go see a beautiful rose, don't say anything because you're going to dirty it. As soon as you say how beautiful it is, you screwed it all up. Just allow it to touch you. Allow the fragrance to embrace you. Have an intercourse with that rose. And he says, learn something about the rose. The rose smells sweet even when you're not around. In fact, the rose will smell beautiful even when nobody's around. It doesn't have anything to prove. It just gives what it has. If a little skunk wanders through, the rose smells sweet. The skunk's name's probably flowers. Oh, that's sweet. So the rose is just so beautiful. But here it is, the rose of Sharon. You know? Sharon is plain. It means plain. P-L-A-I-N. A flat place. But there's something about Sharon. Sharon is a flat place, a flat plain, but it is filled with fertile abundance. It is the place of the lower mind which has been touched by the beauty of the rose. Now it is no longer a desert place. It is no longer a place where I don't know which way to turn. It is a place where growth begins to come forth that is beautiful and lovely and filled with color and filled with beautiful aroma. I am the rose of Sharon. It pours forth a sweet fragrance within all of the... You know, in Psalm 23 we looked for before. Let me show you something. Go back there, page 473 for just a minute. And let's look at the rose on Psalm 23. It's not really the rose, but I wanted to show you something interesting. The rose of Sharon is the beauty that comes and grows in the midst of all of your carnal mind and all of its problems. And it's the same thing as in Psalm 23 when it says in verse 5, you prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Do you know the only enemies that you have in this world? Your thoughts. There are no other enemies that are going about to do you in except yourself and myself. And it happens all the time. All the time. No matter what. When we got to this point with Prissy getting sick, we could have went and ranted and raved. Oh, here we worked all year for our vacation, and now the whole blasted thing. Airplane's gone, Orlando's gone, Disneyland's gone, Key West is gone, Jimmy Buffett's gone. It's all gone for an alley cat. But instead, I say, thank you, universe, for that little beautiful piece of God that you put in our midst. And this we treasure and lift up, and nothing in the world can match the value and the beauty of that life, that precious life. I can have Billy Graham in my house. I can have Pope John in my house. I can have all of the great evangelists and rabbis. The most holy people in the world can be in my house. But the only one that is purely God is the cat.
That's right. That's right.
She doesn't have a carnal mind to screw and to deal with you and to cheat you. She's just sitting there. Brr, brr, brr. But you know, it's true. It's true. I have never heard of a cat stealing money from people. Of course, so here then it says, I will prepare, in Psalm 23, I will prepare a table for you in the presence of your enemies. Do you know what the rose of Sharon is the same thing? Get this with me. The rose, the beautiful rose, in the middle of Sharon, which is the flat plain, surrounded by all of your difficult thoughts. What's another phrase that you hear a lot in religion? It's exactly the same thing. The lily of the valley. What does that mean? In the beauty of that which is the lily, which is white and gorgeous and soft and pure, in the midst of the valley, which is the low place. Okay, and that's what it means, the lily of the valley and the rose of Sharon. Okay, let's go to Songs 2, verse 2. And here you'll see it again. In the midst of your thoughts, all of your sexual perversions, which are wonderful in many of the instances and keep you fueled up, all of the screwy things that go in that makes you want to rap against other people and blow other people up and do all of the horrible things, all of the hateful thoughts. In the midst of all of those, there is this beauty that you... In other words, in the center of your brain, there is something that you can find through meditation that can rescue you from all of the turmoil, all of the thoughts and all of the hurt and all of the fears and all of the guilt and all of the sickness. In the middle, what is it called in this beautiful book, Song of Songs, chapter 2, verse 2, as a lily among the thorns, so is my love among the daughters. As a lily among the thorns, the center of your being, so is my love among the daughters. The mother in mysticism is the spirit and the emotions, okay? But the emotions that are spiritual are wonderful, but the emotions which are daughters can also be the lower desires, and that can get us in a lot of trouble, as you know. And so here it says that as the lily among the thorns, so is my love among the daughters, the offsprings of the emotions. In the center of that is that holy place of Mother God, where we can lie in her arms and be fed of the milk of kindness from her. And it says in 2, so is my love among the daughters. Verse 3, as the apple tree among the trees of wood, so is my beloved among the sons. Apples are the fruit of the Spirit, the higher spirit. It says in one of the legends of mythology that the earth, Gaia, gave Hera golden apples in her marriage of Zeus. Apples always are the fruit of the Spirit. Look at page 560, if you would, for just a minute. The book of Proverbs, and Proverbs chapter 25. I'll show you something in just a couple of minutes I think you'll find really interesting. Chapter 25, verse... here you'll have a reference to silver, which is consciousness. You have a reference to gold, which is God consciousness. And it says in verse 11, chapter 25 of Proverbs, a word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in pictures of silver. Okay? What is that talking about? Apples, fruit of the Spirit, of gold, God, in pictures of silver, us. Okay? So then we understand what that is talking about. So apple trees, let's real quick. As the apple tree among the trees of wood. The apple trees is the fruit of the higher mind. Among the trees of wood is the astral consciousness. The apple trees, as the fruit of the Spirit grows in the center of our being. All of these words, are just words. They're drawing pictures for. Why do they use apple trees? Why doesn't they speak plainly? Because that which is the Creator has to speak to people 20,000 years ago and 20,000 years from now. And there'll always be apples, and people will always know that apples mean the divine. So no matter what language you're speaking, and it doesn't make any difference if it's Swahili, it doesn't make any difference if it's from Afghanistan or Russian or Spanish or what it is, it's an apple. And an apple stands for that which is the fruit and that which is in the middle of the forest of all the confusion of thy thoughts. As the apple tree is to the trees of wood, in the center of the consciousness, so is my beloved among the sons. In other words, that which is the son within you is beloved among the sons of that which is the mind, the offsprings of the mind, all of the things that make you outraged, all of the things that make you feel the guilt and the fear. In the center of that is this holy place. And the beautiful part about this, if you never hear one thing, all that you have to understand is by entering in and chanting Om or Myoho Renge Kyo, or lifting yourself up through Christ consciousness into the nirvana of Buddha, that is yours. You find this Disneyland of light, if you would, this holy place within you, simply by being willing to energize yourself and let yourself fly up into the holy place, to the bed. And as you get up into the upper place that goes by the winding stairs, you'll find at the right side of the building a golden door. And when you open it, you'll find a green bed. And there lying on the green bed is your beloved. And he or she is ready for you to expose yourself and come through and place that seed of life which will grow into the newness of the new life of Christ within you. All happens simply by the willingness for you to come within. And now Song of Songs, chapter 2, verse 3, verse 4. Oh, verse 3. I sat down under his shadow with great delight. Do you come on Tuesday night? Many of you sit on the floor, and you sit on the corner here, or sit over here, or sit on the floor there, or in your chair, whatever. And when you do, you know what you're doing? You're coming in and sitting under his shadow in great delight. The shadow in the higher realms of consciousness is that which gives you shade from the heat and the passions of the lower. All of the burning that comes from the lower mind, all of the fear that comes from the lower mind. You sit under his shadow, and he gives that coolness. I sat down with great delight. There's the ecstasy, there's the rapture of meditation. And his fruit was sweet to my taste. Do you know, many of you, I don't know, but I won't get into that. But when you have had a sexual experience, when that experience is concluded, it just... When you come in here on Tuesday nights and the experience of meditation is concluded and the lights start to come up, everyone here is I sat down under his shadow, and his fruit was sweet to me. This is how personal, this is how close to you she must get for you to become one in this rapture of love. It says in, if you're real quickly, I know we're running a little bit late, but just real quick, and I'm just about finishing it up here. Go to page 859 in your Bible. Go to the Luke. I want to show you something about the age that you're living in, and okay? It says in Luke chapter 22, page 859. Okay? I want to know if you understand where you're at with your life. I want to, if you understand where hey, you've just seen an election here, and you saw something happen in the Soviet Union, and with the world's two strongest men, Mr. Bush and Mr. Gorbachev, were going to solve all the troubles of the world. They were signing the documents, and they were meeting together in the halls, and all of these wonderful things, and now neither of them have a job. What happened? Something is going on that Bush or Gorbachev or Clinton, it doesn't mean anything. It is the return of the bridegroom Uranus for his bride Gaia. The mother and the father have come together, and it is homecoming for the children. And so they said to Jesus, and Jesus knew all about the astrological significance, as he said, in my Father's house, which is the solar zodiac, there are many mansions. So they said to Jesus, well, where's this banquet going to be, hey? Where should we meet with you? When is it going to be when you can go into the upper room of yourself and sit at the banquet with the Christ? And he said, in Luke 22, verse 9, they said, where shall we prepare? And he said, behold, when you are entered into the city, there shall a man meet you bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house. Go to the upper room. This is the dawning of the age of the man with the pitcher of water, Aquarius. It's in the Bible. So when people say, well, how do you know? What do you say? How do I know? The Bible told me so. Because men didn't carry pitchers of water. I know what he was talking about. And if they don't believe that's what he was talking about, I don't care. It's still in the book. That's the location of the banqueting table. When you meet the man with the pitcher of water in the age of Aquarius, you go to the upper room, and there is the banqueting table. And then go back to Song of Songs, chapter 2, verse 4, and the beautifulness of this holy, magnificent letter says, he brought me to the banqueting house, and his banner over me was love. And the banqueting house is the house of Aquarius. And the banner over me was love. So when we come into the statement here of the beauty of this, now we'll see the expression of yourself. And we wrap this up. 2:5, chapter 2, verse 5. Stay with me, flagons. You know what a flagon is? In those days, a flagon was a wineskin. It was a skin that contained wine. And the reason it's putting in there is because the skin with the wine, it's called bottle, but in the skin with the wine, within you is the wine. Stay with me. You're going to see something in just a minute, if you just stay as great as you've been so far. Just a minute, how beautiful this is, and why you say, stay with me. I need to keep the wine in the skin. I need to keep the wine in the flesh. I need to keep within myself this beautiful newness. Stay with me. But Jesus Christ, he knew, of course, Don, that it's very, very difficult. And you people, you have the wine within yourself, or you wouldn't be sitting here listening to me. But Jesus knew what I was going to run into and what so many of you are going to run into, because he said, it is very difficult to put new wine in old skins. You know why? Because the wine ferments and the skin breaks. Boom! I can't hold it. I can't handle it. I can't deal with this. Very hard. Very hard. But so stay with me, flagon. Stay with me within myself, this beautiful holiness And it says in chapter 2, verse 5, comfort me with apples. That's the fruit of the Spirit. And now the next line is amazing. For I am sick of love. I'm sick of the love that does not consummate itself. I'm sick of the love that whores after the other things for money. I'm sick of the love that is deceitful. I am sick of the love that has hurt me, that has broken me, that has disappointed me, that has discouraged me. I am sick of it. I don't want any more of it. I don't want any more of your songs. I don't want any more of your stained glass. I don't want any more of your prayers. Stay with me, Phlegon. Stay with me, Spirit within myself. Stay with me, apples of the higher fruit of the mind. For I am sick of the love of the outside. And the reason that you are sitting here is because the outside and the church and the religions and the government and all of this have tried to love you so much that they have made you sick of them. I'm sick of them. Now, this is the end, and I always say that because I promise this. And this is the beautiful part. You ready for it? Verse 6. His left hand is under my head. The left side is the lower mind. Okay? I need to just show you this before you go home. Go to page 678. Go to the book of Ezekiel. Okay? Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 10. Okay? The right hemisphere of the brain is the place where within that which is the physical realm is the spirit. In the Bible, lion can be a raging animal, bad, but lion will also be the king of the beast, the Lion of Judah, the spirit. Okay? Verse 10, Ezekiel 1, as for the likeness of their faces, the forehead, the face of a man and the face of a lion on the right side, and the forehead, the face of the ox on the left side. Okay? His left hand is under my head. In other words, what it is saying, the left side is the carnal mind, and God, Spirit, He, she reaches down to pull your left side up. And as He pulls your left side up, it says in Song of Songs, chapter 2, verse 6, His left hand is under my head, and His right hand does embrace me. Huh? I am embraced with that which is the right side. But I first must be picked up by the left side. And Jesus says, cast your net to the right side, and you will find. And today you understand the love experience that is really life, and the opportunities that you have to lie in the green bed in your temple of light and be intercoursed with He who is the Creator, with she who is the Creator, and be in a oneness with universal Spirit, universal truth in this magnificent age of Aquarius. Thank you very much.